the criticality of the challenge as you see it, in terms of the global food grains crisis that stares us in the face, the scenario as you see unfold over the next few months, and solutions that you think need to be considered and worked on by everyone who's listening to this conversation?
Well, thank you. And yes, we're faced with a dual challenge now, both a food crisis, but also a climate crisis, and we need to solve both of them. Yara is operating in 60 countries. We sell our products to 160 countries, and the reports we're getting back from the front lines now in the most vulnerable communities are just scary in terms of the impact now on food production and food affordability, and potentially also on availability. Indeed, Russia's invasion of Ukraine has accelerated this, and creating significant disturbances to value chains that have been built up over decades, and where the food system actually has done a fairly good job at growing more food for a growing population, though at a cost to the environment. But now with trade flows changing overnight, that creates complexities that in turn also has a direct impact on food flows. Ukraine and Russia are big producers of food. Right now there are 25 million tons of corn and grain in the Ukrainian ports that is not reaching the market. So at the same time as we're talking about famine, we risk food rotting in inventories in Ukraine as a direct result of the war, and that's up to just an individual to make a change to that. And here I can only plead to humanity to resolve that and hope that it changes, but we cannot rely on hope alone. We need to put other measures in place, strengthening the safety nets and the last safety nets that are out there, like the World Food Programme, and also dealing with the longer term or medium term challenges of the food system. Today it represents 25 to 30% of greenhouse gas emissions, and we need to solve that as well, to make farming also more resilient to climate change, because that is part of what is happening now. If you look at the heat waves in India and the impact now on the current wheat harvest in Pakistan, in North America, with also first cold spell and now heat, droughts and floods and so on, agriculture is directly impacted by climate change, and we need to do that as well. And then it's about technology. Our company was founded 120 years ago based on a technological breakthrough. Our founder was the first one that came up with the innovation to sequester and get nitrogen out of the air and turn it into fertilizer to feed a growing population, and that's had a huge impact on both on the ag sector, but also on a growing population. Now the next step will be on technology and data and transparency and availability through regenerative farming, which I think is key here, that we have an output-focused ag system that measures and really rewards farmers for farming in the right way, so that they get paid for something else than just a kilo of a crop. What we have now is exactly what we paid for in the food system. A food system only focused on kilos produced, not the environmental impact, productivity, nutritional content, water consumption, carbon sequestration. All of that has been and I'm talking a bit broadly here, of course, but that's been disregarded, and then we're left with kilos of crop with the environmental consequences that has. So we have to use the dual challenge now to urgently change and help on food security, get more food to people, but at the same time solve the environmental challenges, and that's where technology plays an important role.